Welcome to Merging Best Practice and Test Prep. This training video is provided by Instructional Designs Incorporated. Many teachers ask the question, can you really merge best practice and test prep? There's a lot of concern about just teaching to the test. Some common mistakes that educators make is that they think that they really can't do that they are incompatible, when actually that's not the case. When you examine what the MCA tests test, there are actually concepts and abilities that you really do want your students to be able to know and be able to do. So it is very effective to actually use certain best practice strategies to help the students learn those concepts and eventually do better on the tests as well. The other common mistake that teachers make is they don't align their curriculum to the MCA test specs. Too often they rely on the textbook series that they have and focus on just delivering that curriculum and not really fully analyzing which concepts are being tested by the MCAs. Often teachers will realize by the time the tests occur in April, they haven't covered certain concepts, and their students are at a disadvantage in that case. The other common mistake is not integrating the MCA type test questions into the daily practice of teaching. So while you're teaching the kids the concepts using best practice strategies, you also want to be able to show them example test questions that show that these strategies work on answering those questions. And that's when the light bulb goes on for the students. Let me show you a couple of examples of resources that we have in the MCA planner that teachers use to cover these concepts and to address some of these best practice strategies. First of all, they align. They take a look at what we have as are called the tally tables. Now, you certainly could just use the test specs from that are on the State Department website as well. However, in the tally tables that we provide from the MCA2 planner, they have all of the standards and concepts and skills listed there, which is also nice is that they're aligned to the activities that are in our curriculum. But even if you don't use our curriculum activities, it would be a good idea to align your Houghton Mifflin, McGraw-Hill, everyday math activities to these concepts as well. Often students will get questions like this: 6,780 people visited the fair. What is another way to write this number? And then they'll be given 4 choices. Now, when you think about what strategies or what skills do the students need in order to be able to solve this problem, they first of all need to be able to read. They need to be able to decipher what's being asked. Secondly, they need to be able to visualize and really understand place value. And they need to do that through visualizing, and it could be done in a couple of different ways. It could be like by showing actual number sticks that you can show the different place value. For example, this would be 328. You can also use tables like this. And again, in the MCA planner materials, these are the kind of best practice activities that we provide that help kids understand the underlying concepts associated with these test questions, but then also show how the students can use these strategies in order to do successful on those types of test questions. Another sample math question. There's many graph questions on the MCA test. Students need to be able to read and decipher information from graphs. One of the best ways, a best practice strategy for doing that is to actually have the students collect their own data and survey their own fellow students on something like colors, for example. And then they could create their own chart and then analyze and ask very similar questions that are on the test. In reading, it's very similar. Often the students are asked to identify the main idea of the story or draw conclusions or make predictions and check their predictions. So what we want to do is help the students see that the best practice strategies that they would normally do in reading anything, such as pre-reading and previewing text, reading the title of the story, getting them to ask questions and generate questions about what they think the story is about, reading small sections like the first section or the first couple paragraphs of the story that they're reading. That can help them when previewing the text and in generating the questions, can help them think through and monitor their own comprehension as they predict the main idea of the story. You could even have them underline the main ideas as they read it. But again, they need to see that the kinds of articles and stories that are on the MCA test are just like the text that they read every day in class, and they need to preview text and generate questions, monitor their own comprehension, try to identify the main idea as they read, and that will help them in answering questions. Just an overview again, this is why we created the MCA2 planner. It's so that teachers can test, get a sense of where the students are at, tally up to see how students are doing against the standards, and to also target and find activities and student worksheets and activities, best practice strategies to help improve student performance on those concepts. So again, there's many tests. You can get the tests come in PDF files. There's also electronic tests that can be taken online to find out where the students are at. The PDF tests are things that the teacher can print off as many as they want, and to figure out which concepts students are how they're doing on the MCA concepts. Keeping in mind that as far as we know, other than the state practice tests, these are the only items that were developed to exactly meet MCA test specs. Again, we also have the electronic tests that where if you want to have your students practice online or using the computer, can be another efficient way to see how they're doing. Again, what I mentioned before is the tally tables. That's really it serves as both a answer key for the teacher aligned to the test specs, but also, as you can see, it has the practice activities that are aligned to. So it makes it very easy for the teacher to know if there's certain, if comparing and ordering whole numbers is a weak area, many students got those questions wrong, they should do the activities that are aligned with that. And again, all of the lesson plans and student practice activities are these best practice strategies aimed at conceptual development, hands-on learning, getting them to really understand the concepts and not just learn the procedures that typically textbooks only cover. Ordering information is on the website. It's also listed here. Many schools are starting to use the MCA2 planner. It's really a good time of year to be thinking about that. So give us a call if you have any other questions, or check out more information on our website.